Now for a bit of a contradiction. Hello, I am not Kiran Subbaiah. At this moment, as this video is being screened, I am not a person anymore. This thing that you see in front of you is a mere image of the person whose name is Kiran Subbaiah. At this moment, as this video is being shot, I have my powers over you, because you are an object in my hands. Do you understand? I have the power to show you what I want you to see. It's quite good, isn't it? Not bad? Could it be worse? Hey, you're eating with your hands again, you barbarian. It's you who are the barbarian. Look at those weapons you're using. You see, the advantage of eating with fork and knife is that you don't risk the chances of burning your fingers. The advantage of eating with your fingers is that you don't risk the chances of burning your mouth. And apart from all the other things that can be done to the image with the editing machine, I can also turn you off.
Quite bored and confused and don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing with life. But one thing that I do know for sure is that I hate work. I hate work and only like to play. Another thing that I always knew is that I wanted to be famous. I wanted everybody else to admire me and want to be just like me. So that's exactly what I did. I went and became famous. This was a long time ago, long before most of you were even born, and I still make sure that nobody ever forgets me. This is not working. Alright?
You'll be surprised to see how easy it is. My suicide note.
Okay, I'll just play that. It works in another program.
And remember me. Remember my name. Kiran Subbaiah. I happen to have become quite famous. Well, now that I'm dead, I have become immensely famous. I am the divine miracle. What distinguishes me from you the ordinary, what makes me special, is a very simple thing. If I showed you, well, you might as well not watch all this, but if I showed you, you'll be surprised to see how easy it is. My suicide note. Oh, it's in there. Well, as I was saying, if I showed you, you'll be surprised to see how easy it is to be just like me. And you'll immediately see that it's so much better than being like you. And you'll do it. You'll all do it. You'll give up whatever you are and be just like me. And you'll tell everybody you know, and they'll tell everybody else they know, until all the people in the world will know how to be just like Kiran Subbaiah. And that's exactly what they'll all do. You see, I'm not a fool to show you what distinguishes me from you.
Famous. How did other people before me become famous? Other people worked hard. They did good things, virtuous things, things that were beneficial to society and mankind at large. The more beneficial the things they did were for the progress of human civilization, the more famous these people became. And me, I did no work, at least nothing good or beneficial for society. So when people started calling what I make art, I began inventing methods of making lots and lots of bad, nasty art. Yeah, I know it's quite hideous, but it gave me great pleasure in doing it. It was not work at all. It was more like play. Child's play. It was like as though I were the bad guy in the game. I was the bad guy who always won, and other people who played me always lost. Sorry, I just get carried away when I look at my own so-called art. I forget. What exactly am I supposed to be talking about? Huh? Am I not supposed to be talking about my art? My work? Yeah? Yeah, I remember somebody wanted me to say something about why I use so much technology in my work to make art. Well, as I just explained, I don't really work or make art, I just like to do nasty things. I think there's no point even in talking about what technology I might employ to make my so-called art. I think it's better to talk about what technology I employ in real life, and not just what existing technology I might take advantage of in order to carry on with day-to-day life, but rather what technology I invent in order to become famous and get done with life. Right? Leonardo da Vinci did not manage to become that famous. He didn't make a few, incidentally, very few works of art that were admirable. That sounds like an understatement, doesn't it? He made works of art that were remarkable, historically important, groundbreaking, so on and so forth. I'm not denying any of that. But he could have become a lot more famous if he had succeeded in learning to fly. He did come up with a few crude concepts that vaguely suggested how it might be possible for him to fly. But it was only some 4 centuries or so after, when other people stuck combustion engines in his contraptions and modified them considerably, that they actually managed to take off from the ground. But that was not exactly what Da Vinci was after. He did not want to fly sitting in a machine. He wanted to do it with his own sheer, given human physical capabilities. The church did not seem to have objected to Da Vinci's experiments, probably because they could see that he was not going to succeed. But if by some crooked twist of fate, if he had succeeded in elevating himself off the ground and floating away into the great beyond to check out on God, the angels, and whatever else happened to exist up there in his times, then you can imagine the consequences he would have to face when he came back down to earth again. I knew nothing about Da Vinci's failed experiments until after I'd already invented my very own and absolutely unique method of taking flight.
The bodies of birds evolved and became suitable for flight only after a significant amount of time and effort that these creatures invested into practicing the act. The prerequisites for any creature learning to fly is firstly to have an inborn aspiration for it, and secondly to have an intuitive understanding of its operation. I always believed that I possessed these prerequisites and set about practicing the act at a very early age. Before I was taught Newton's law about what makes an apple fall to the ground, I owned a rubber ball that bounced. And before I learned of Leonardo's flying machines, I was aware of the fact that I could jump up pretty high. And so, putting together my knowledge about such miraculous properties in the things around me and in myself, I set about conceiving my means of taking flight. I had to take care not to be discouraged by the interrogation of responsible people regarding my activity. So I practiced only in the early hours before sunrise. My method was fairly simple but required rigorous practice in order to be mastered. What I would do is to first jump up into the air as high as possible, and then very quickly, before there was time for gravity to act, I would jump again to a higher point in the air. And so with a series of leaps, each following the preceding in rapid succession, I would manage to elevate myself well off the ground. The ability to fly naturally brought with it the gift for understanding the language of birds. When the neighborhood cockerel crowed, I would immediately understand what he meant. The neighborhood cock was basically putting into a nutshell his explanations for having washed his wings off the whole aviation business. His arguments would induce in me an unbearable sense of vertigo.
So after having done all the nasty things that one might want to do, and after having become famous for doing them, after being completely satisfied with life, well then, what is one supposed to do? One could just sit back and relax, wait for the time to pass until old age, illness or accident brings forth the inescapable, bitter end. That's exactly what moderately famous people do, not the truly famous ones. For all the truly famous people, like Abby Hoffman, Lenny Bruce, K.P. Krishna Kumar, well, you name them. For all the truly famous people, that was voluntary, self-inflicted death. So, I've been messing with my life to do the same in the nastiest way possible.
Well, they used to say that a man who keeps talking about committing suicide finally never does it. They don't say it anymore because I prove them wrong. You see, the is to pretend to yourself that you're never going to do it.
Any questions? No? Good. Thank you all so much for letting me waste your time.